DACA recipients and why they should be allowed to stay in the United States. So I have this video here and it's about 30 seconds long. It's on the PowerPoint. And basically what DACA is, it stands for Deferred Action of Early Childhood Arrivals. And what this program does, it protects undocumented immigrants who were brought here as children through no fault of their own, by giving them a social security, a not only a social security, but it gives them a legal work permit and it protects them from the possibility of deportation. Um, Although Alonso Guillen was not a U.S. citizen like mentioned in the video, um, he is now considered a hero in the United States and he was a DACA recipient. So the relevance of this topic is important because many of these people might not be aware of the possible peers that they can possibly have who might be protected by this program. Over 800,000 DACA recipients now face possible danger and possible deportation if Trump's administration decides to end DACA for good. Unless Congress decides to have leniency towards these recipients with the possible DREAM Act or just by simply allowing the program to continue. What qualifies me to speak about this is that I have done extensive research on this topic and I personally am a DACA recipient since the year 2016. DACA recipients are vital in today's society. Close to 1 million of these recipients have been at risk of deportation. Some even have already been deported since it was revoked by Donald Trump. DACA recipients also contribute an immense amount of money towards the economy of the United States and within their communities as well. According to an article, Six Reasons Not to Deport DACA Dreamers by Cosmopolitan, it's estimated that DACA recipients could contribute an additional nearly $505 million in state and local taxes. So if about 700,000 of these recipients were to be deported, the U.S. would lose nearly $60 million in federal taxes, which is a lot. A lot of DACA recipients are also valuable assets within their own communities as well. These people are doctors, nurses, teachers, lawyers, business owners, and some of these business owners even employ other people, thus creating more revenue for the country. Deporting DACA recipients back to their countries of origin can also be cruel, due to how much violence there is in their countries of origin. Many of these young people who have DACA are fleeing from their countries of origin in the first place due to high crime rate, and there's no guarantee for their safety once these recipients enter back to their countries of origin. According to the Washington Post, they mentioned the following. In May, 3 weeks after arriving in Mexico, Cano Pacheco was killed in the north central state of Zacatecas. His throat was slit while getting food with an acquaintance of his cousins, his family, and friends, told the Des Moines Register. So dreamers or DACA recipients, I think they're American. These recipients have to qualify for the program if they have been residing in the U.S. for a certain amount of years, and they had to be brought in by a parent or guardian illegally as children younger than a certain age. These people have been used to an American life their entire life. They might not even remember what their countries of origin even look like or what their true customs are. The current state of DACA recipients is at risk due to Trump's administration and a zero tolerance policy, implying fear upon people of colored skin. So Donald Trump decided to end DACA in late 2017, and although DACA was put on hold by a judge in California, who allowed renewals but no new applicants after a few months of its ending, many young adults still lost their jobs and were detained and deported throughout this time phase where there was uncertainty. According to an article by The Hill, Solia Pelayo, who has been a DACA participant since 2012, recently received notice that Immigration and Customs Enforcement has sought reopening of her removal proceedings. Recipients are being targeted due to their immigration status, but that should not be the case because DACA recipients are subject to a background check every 2 years in order to be eligible for constant renewal. A lack of immigration reform has also affected these young undocumented immigrants, and one reason for some DACA recipients to be at risk of deportation is the fact that a fair and delicate amnesty has not been passed yet in order to benefit these hardworking individuals. Also, I think false accusations in society have made things uncertain and can affect undocumented immigrants. For example, I think people who vote often keep in mind the stereotypes that are involved with immigrants, like for example that they are criminals, or that these people around in the government can also take decisions that can affect immigrants in an unfair way. Another accusation that people believe is that undocumented immigrants don't pay taxes, when that is not true at all. A YouTube video by the name of DACA recipient proves undocumented immigrants pay taxes. Undocumented America by Fusion explains how an undocumented immigrant is more open to her own taxes than the actual president. Um, Due to Republican administrations from Donald Trump creating uncertainty and pandemonium, they should also approve the DREAM Act or create an amnesty for undocumented DACA recipients. So this problem has been a debate for many years, and in the least political way, DACA recipients should not only be able to stay, but they should be given citizenship as well. They are honestly just kids who were brought to the United States in an illegal way as babies through no fault of their own, and they grew up in America. So I think there should be more federal help involving centers where they provide immigrant rights for a much lower cost. An amnesty or the famous DREAM Act should also be passed in order to legalize these young innocent immigrants. DACA should be kept in order for the young immigrants to keep pursuing their American dreams and have a better shot at life. According to ADL, the DREAM Act, short for Development Relief and Education for Alien Minors Act, was a bill in Congress that would have granted legal status to certain undocumented immigrants who were brought to the United States as children and went to school here. If legalized, Dreamers or DACA recipients shall continue to be an important asset within our economy and within our country. More jobs, more revenue are promised for the country, also less anxieties, less depressions, less family separations, and even less suicides um, are definitely going to be a big thing for these innocent immigrant lives. Overall, the lives of over 800,000 DACA recipients are at risk due to DACA's possible complete removal, and the government should create solutions so DACA recipients can keep residing legally within the United States. So yeah, over 800,000 DACA recipients face deportation and possible danger if Trump's administration decides to end it for good. Um, but DACA recipients, I think, help the economy immensely, and they are used to living peacefully in the United States. Deporting them would be just cruel, and lastly, I think they're American. So, um, some of these people actually know better English than Spanish, and the closing and final thoughts would to be that I think there has to be a protection for DACA recipients, and they're important towards the economy of the United States because they are American as anyone else who was born inside the U.S. to begin with, and I think I say we because I'm one of them. We are in search of the American dream. Our parents are good people who risk their lives in order to give their families a better future. And if you were stuck in a poverty-stricken area, born into a poverty-stricken family, and your only options were to either join organized crime or risk your life in the incredible journey where you cross an international border in order to simply survive, what would you do?